Hi boys and girls, welcome back to art. Hopefully you listened to the first video where you were learning about the artist Laurel Burch. I really like this artist because she uses a lot of bright colors in her artwork and patterns, and I just really like how bright her artwork is, so I do tend to use her. She is known for her cats, and so we're going to be creating this cat image today, and you're going to need a few materials. I have a piece of white drawing paper. It's nicer, it's not just printer paper, and you're going to actually be working on it horizontally, not vertical, so you want to turn it to the side. You also need a pencil, a Sharpie, and some glue. So those are the items that you're going to need today. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create this large line at the top of the head right here. So I have some space left though so that I can create the ears at the top. So we're going to create that nice curved line, and we want it really big so that our cat head is big. So I'm just going to create a curved line, and you can see I have just a little bit of space left at the end, but I really want a big head and not a teeny tiny one. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm creating kind of this pentagon shape so that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So now I'm going to create my 2 sides, and they're actually vertical lines, very straight. And so I'm going to create about right here to about the middle of my paper, you can see. And I'm going to try to make this one look just the same on this side. So I'm trying to kind of make them even on there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my last 2 sides. So right now I have 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to make them diagonal. So you can see this is going this way so that they meet in the middle like this. So I'm going to try to kind of put like a little dot right here, but my line is not exactly straight. I tried to do a little bit of a curve to it, just a little bit though. See, and I do a diagonal line. And notice I'm turning my paper so that it's comfortable for me, boys and girls. And then I'm going to do one this way so that I'm meeting right there, and it kind of looks like a baseball diamond, or like I said, a pentagon, 5 sides. So the next thing I'm going to do is create the ears, and I don't want these teeny tiny little ears, or when I go to trace it woo, sorry, with glue, it's going to pull together. So I'm going to create kind of a curved line right here, and then come and create another curved line just like that, so that I'm creating my ears. And then I'm going to start right here again, and I'm going to do the same thing, and if I have to go all the way to the top almost, that's fine. And then I'm going to create my other ear, trying to make them look the same. Then I'm going to come inside and I'm going to follow those. Don't make this too small, because then when you go to trace it with glue, it's going to pull together. So now I've got my ears, I've got the outline of my face. So the next thing I'm going to do is start creating the inside of my face, some of the details. And if you notice on my cat, I made a really big nose because I want it to stand out so that I can get color, but also I don't want my glue, if you notice the glue on here, to pull together. So I'm going to actually create kind of a line like I did here, but I'm just going to do it a little smaller. So it's like that, right in the middle of the face, but my nose is going to be big on this cat. It's more abstract than we're making a real life kitty. So then I'm just gonna make my nose just like that. So I kind of do a triangle upside down. I have a little bit less of a point though, so I'm gonna make it a little more curved than just a straight triangle. The next thing I'm gonna do is create a vertical line straight up and another vertical line straight up. So the next thing I wanna do is create my mouth lines here. So all I'm going to do is make a curved line like this, and then another curved line, and you can even come out from here, or you can even create another line like this, whichever you feel more comfortable with, boys and girls. So the next thing I'm going to do is create my eyes. On here I made really big eyes because I want them to stand out, so I did a curved line and a curved line, but you don't have to do it exactly like that. So on this one I might do something different. I might make straight line here and a straight line here, but then I'm going to create a curve on this one, curve, and a curve. You do how you feel comfortable with or how you want. Just make sure it's big so that way when we go to do our glue, it doesn't pull together. And then I'm going to do a curve line here. This is creating the whites of the eye, and a curve line here, just like you guys have the whites in your eyes. So we're going to do another curve line just like that. And then we're going to come in and I'm going to do a big circle. This is going to be the pupil. This is actually what we see out of, boys and girls. This is where light comes into the eye and we're able to see. And I can see mine are two different sizes a little bit, but I like that because it kind of makes me think the cat's like, and I also added another dot inside mine to show light reflecting, and I'll show you how we're going to do that in a minute. And then the last thing I'm going to do is add the details of the whiskers. They're not straight lines. We want to add a little bit of curve, 2, 3, so that way it looks a little bit more like cat whiskers instead of like these crazy lines coming out of my cat. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to trace our entire cat with Sharpie. So what I do is I don't go really fast. I go in slow movements, and I also like to use 2 times. So I turn my paper so that it's more comfortable for me, and I go 1, 2, small pieces, and I pick up my marker, 1, 2. That way I'm making these nice thick lines and it's neat. 1, 2. So go ahead and trace your entire cat, and we'll come back to talk about what we're going to do next. Boys and girls, notice I have traced everything with Sharpie. There's no pencil left showing. I've even colored in the pupil of my eye. The reason we're doing the Sharpie is because most of you don't have black glue at home. What I do when I'm here is I add paint to this and I dye my glue black, but I don't want y'all doing that because then now you have black glue. So now I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to trace my entire cat. I'm going to start in one area and work my way down. Don't start at the bottom and try to move up, because then you're going to drag your hand through the glue. So you're going to start and you're going to squeeze glue on that line. Pick up your glue, stop squeezing, and then come back down and do your other line. Pick up your glue when you're changing lines. So see how I trace that and I stop. So that way I'm not dragging my glue across. So here, and I want to make sure I keep my hand out of it, boys and girls. So see, I stop squeezing, I pick up. See, I'm doing all the top of it. And then I go back and then I move down. I don't want to do any of my glue at the bottom so that I put my hand in it. Also, I keep my hand up so that I'm not putting glue into putting my hand into my glue. Now, the pupil, I'm actually going to take and I'm going to trace it, and then I'm going to fill it in the entire way. Don't worry about that spot or anything else, just fill it in the entire way. And then I'm going to go ahead and trace the rest of these lines. Notice I'm picking up my glue, not dragging it across. I'm even going to turn my paper so that I can reach it better and that I'm not putting my hand in the glue. Again, you're going to trace the pupil, this nice black dot, and then you're going to fill it in with glue like that. Not so much that you're creating a huge puddle. After you get done tracing your glue, make sure you trace everything. So I'm tracing all of my lines, and make sure you also used a permanent black marker. That's one of these, because if you didn't and you use the water kind, like your Crayola markers right now, your markers are going to smudge because it's putting liquid onto your black. So I'm going to trace all of this. When you put it somewhere to dry, make sure you're putting it somewhere out of the way, but also that it lays flat so that it can dry nice and flat without it being messed with, boys and girls. So go ahead and do that, and I would like for you to let it dry, and we'll come back next week. I hope you had fun, boys and girls, and learning about Laurel Burch. Bye, boys and girls.